Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joy at Work. It's great to have you. It's July 10, 2020. We're right in the middle of summer. If you live in the Southeast, it's getting very, very hot right about now. And we're through one half of this really weird and interesting and depressing on occasion year, right? And kind of looking towards the home stretch here. So I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're staying safe with your families and taking care of yourselves. So a few weeks ago, I bombed in a piano recital, like totally blew it, like bombed. And the sad part about it is I actually prepared for this recital. Like every day, I would spend 10 or 15 minutes, like just going through this piece over and over and over again, right? I just wanted it to be part of who I was. I wanted to face no difficulties as I played it. I just wanted it to be the perfect recital. Now, this was an online recital as well. It's the first time I've ever done this. So everybody connected on Zoom. You had to set up your equipment in a certain way and play. And for some reason, I bombed this, and I started well. I started very well, but somewhere just in playing the piece, I either lost focus, lost concentration, or was wondering how people were perceiving me on Zoom. I really couldn't see them. They were in the corner of my eyes. But before I knew it, I'd forgotten what I needed to do and things like that. Now, I made it to the end of the piece, but it was an adventure. And I can laugh on it now or laugh at it now because I've been in a number of recitals and they've not all gone as well as I would have hoped, that I can kind of poke fun at myself. And my instructor was very gracious after the whole thing, but she grilled me and said, "Hey, what happened and what went wrong and kind of why did you lose your focus?" And just asked all the questions she should ask after that, because bombing that recital or that piano recital was an opportunity for me to learn, right? There was a moment in there that something didn't go as well as I thought, or didn't play out the way I wanted it to play out. And my inability to recover, catch myself, find out what I needed to play next kind of sent me down a path of just a tailspin of like, hey, don't know what to do until I finally recovered myself. And as I thought about this and just thought about the workplace, we make mistakes at work all the time. It wasn't too long ago that I had a presentation to share with some senior executives in my workplace. And again, I bombed that presentation in the sense that I wasn't as prepared as I probably should have been. I didn't have all the data I needed to have, right? And so I left that presentation not feeling too good about myself in that situation. And so if you're like me, that's probably happened to you, and it will happen to you because none of us is perfect. We all make mistakes. I think the really interesting point here, though, is that these slip ups that we have, these bad recitals that we have, or the poor presentations, all provide opportunities to get better. And, in my career, I've observed people who get very, very defensive, right? And almost always have an excuse for why something didn't go well. And I think those people deny themselves opportunities to get better, because when you move into a place where you're trying to come up with reasons or explanations or excuses outside of yourself for why things didn't go well. Like in my situation, well, it's the first time we had a piano recital on Zoom, or the room was too warm, or somebody sneezed and I lost focus. That's kind of putting it out on somebody. That's having somebody else own the reason for why things didn't go the way you wanted them to go. But when we take ownership and say, what can I do differently? How can I learn from this? Then I think we position ourselves to get better. Too often, and I've done this in my career, and I still do this. So this isn't a others do this, I don't do it. I do it as well. But too often, our default response is to look outside of us ourselves. when in reality, there are probably things we can do differently, do better. We can improve our approaches and just really get different outcomes at the end of the day, right? The process we put in place ultimately influences the outcomes one way or the other. Sure, we can get lucky sometimes, but I don't think you want to rely on luck over a process that you continue to iterate and improve on. So when things don't go right, when you engage or have an interaction or try to do some work and the outcome doesn't turn out as you wish it would have, start with yourself, right? Clearly there could be some other things that are involved. Very rarely is there one reason that something didn't go the way it should. But start with yourself and ask yourself, what could I have done differently? What can I do differently to move forward? So back to my piano recital. So after I bombed that and kind of did a reflection and realized that I had gotten distracted, and when I became distracted, I wasn't able to recover. It indicated to me that there were parts of that song that I fully hadn't internalized. I hadn't really understood the chords that were being played there, and maybe I was too dependent on finger positioning. So immediately something happened that caused me to kind of get off from a finger positioning perspective. I was done. I was lost, and what it meant was that I really needed to practice the song even further and really understand what I was transitioning to from a musical sense, from a chord perspective. And so I spent the following week working on that. And now I think I can probably, somebody could blow a horn in the room and I'd probably fine because while I might kind of have to find my way a little bit. I know where I need to go and I can recover more quickly. And I think that's the same thing we can bring to the workplace. We can say, what can I learn from this? What's the opportunity? How can I improve and make this better? The thing we always need to remember is that all these things we do, we ultimately are doing them for ourselves, not for anybody else, for ourselves. So, hey, mistakes will happen, failure will happen, but the choice is on us. It's up to us to determine if we want to learn and get better, up to us to decide if we want to learn and get better from that experience. So, thanks for joining me today. Hopefully, this helped you a little bit, and I'll see you next time. Bye.